Okay. It's recording. Nope. Does not say. Chat. No. I don't want polls. Remote control. No. I don't. Let me see. I'm trying to find like a settings or something. Sorry about this, guys. This is why we start early. It shows nothing in settings. Can't share an on-stream, maybe hit record. Yeah. Yeah. It's recording, and that's all the options. Strange. Jeez. Get former market in here. Yeah. That's sort of annoying. If it works, that would be great, but I don't see it working. It's all right. It's all right. I mean, we'll be listening more. People will be listening more and talking. Where is the invite link for? Oh, shit. It's not what I meant to do. There we go. Okay. You guys see the screen, though? The new color? I don't know. I just like to change my background about 5 million times. Give me a coffee refill. He's an Aussie.
Down under, mate. Middle of the idea.
Yeah, no, not here. Oh, I love it. All right. So we are looking at CT RIP. It's funny a name. See, so you can open up your charts as well. We were looking at this. I will throw the update for the color. For the color, Phil, I'll do that update after the webinar ish. Unless I have to take my daughter to school ish. But that I will take care of that. Because I know everybody wants to be like me. I'm just kidding. So we'll keep it very simple. And what we're really looking at usually in the mornings is we're looking at stocks that we specifically have a perimeter around. And the biggest perimeter is we're looking at around the $2 to what do I have at $100, $1,000 the price range, and then we're looking at the RSI levels. Just see if we can find anything that's oversold, and then we correlate that with our system, or with the system on the indicator on the 5-minute, the 1 hour, and the daily. So just to kind of catch you up, Aiden, since you weren't here yesterday, that's what we're doing. Oh, and 2 daily. Yeah, 2D. That's correct. So in case you didn't know, now you know. So I was telling these guys yesterday to set an alert on CTRP because it technically wasn't quite at the mark where I wanted it yet. Okay. Well, now it is. So the biggest thing that we're looking at is this guy right here. Okay. It's like decision time. So it needs to start curling back up because this is our little RSI. And we're already low, right? That's already confirmed. The 2-day is sitting about the same. It could go lower. So I am keeping an eye on that. But this could also bounce, be a good scalp for the day. So it really, I see this level 26.17, but then when we switch to that, we see that it already dropped, and now it's on a squeeze on the hourly, and that's what I like to see right there. So it's building a support on that deviation. The only thing that concerns me is this, because I need this RSI to be lower. So it could have a little pullback. We might hold off on it. Might not do it yet. So the biggest thing is we'll get in that in our private chats, dude. It's all right. The biggest thing, the biggest importance is we're trying to find stocks that we don't have to have our eyes glued to the monitor in our trades, that we know that we bought it at the bottom. We know that it's at a good spot on the 1 hour, the daily, and the 5. And all we need to do is just keep moving our stop loss up while the trade's going. And we can probably play it for a week, depending on how the health of the market looks. So we always turn to our SPY. That's the S&P 500 index that basically has all the popular stocks. And if there's if it starts dropping, usually everything else kind of has the domino effect. There are some stocks that will play against it, but it's not always smart to bet against the 500. So the first thing I like to do is see how the health is. Now, this is just catching you guys up. I usually have already looked at the SPY and the QQQ to see if I want to trade for the day. So we did definitely drop down to that 269 like I predicted yesterday. So I do see that it's holding on this deviation on the 5. We are curling up on our RSI. Okay. This looks healthy. Okay, how the bands are shooting up like that. That looks good because there looks like there's some like a wedge forming for divergence. Now, the area of concern and why I have these two lines here is this is like the point of no return for this specific time frame. So if we drop below 260 or I said the lowest is like 259, then we could be running into a bullish or a bearish market, you know. So it's always important to just use the multiplier. And maybe we'll go over that again on another webinar. But yeah, it's always important to watch these indexes, how they're behaving. I have no idea why Lulu is on my index. But yeah, so it is sort of consolidating on this deviation. Let's check how the hour looks. The hour doesn't look that pretty. It is kind of smoothing out though on the bands, which is good. We're kind of going flatline. I had a feeling this was going to happen because that we're running towards the holidays, and usually when the holidays kick off, there is not a lot of activity. You know, a lot of people are taking the day or the week off just to chill with their family or whatever they're doing. They got people coming over, so they don't have time to be doing any big trades on the markets. Companies are sort of slowing down for the week, so it's definitely could be a consolidation phase. Really depends on how it plays today. I still think we can find some cheap trades to hold on to that won't cost us that much. I mean, in a lateral terms of what you can afford, right? But the prices, let's say for instance, like Apple was $230, right? So if we would have bought it at $230, it dropped instantly. So we would have lost money. So that's my, way of describing how we, what we're looking for in these trades is cheap. So Apple is a good, one to take a quick glance out because it is a trend. And I can't type. Definitely a trend, but we don't really care about the trends. We just care if it's a cheap price to buy. And the way we solve all that is looking at the bands. So anytime it's in the green bands, it's always an interesting process of elimination, of figuring if we want to buy or not. So with Apple, we do see that it can go lower. It has tested this deviation before, which is down at 174. So I'll keep a mental note of that. I do see that we're oversold on the RSI, right? So it would need to bounce right here. That's the rule. I do see the short bands are sort of kind of trickling or kind of crossing here as well. All right. So the extended time definitely has been pushing it down. The daily though, right? And this is why the daily is so good at looking at the overall health is I see some more droppage, right? So that 178 range, we'll keep a mental note of that. That makes sense because the RSI hasn't even touched 30 yet. So it still needs to cross. It still needs to turn back up. Exactly what it did right here, right? Boom. So the person that sold here was smart and he bought it back here at a lower price at 150, and then he made money and then he sold it again. So it narrated perfectly off the RSI, right? So this RSI was actually hitting about 82, right? In that 82 range. Good. All right. Markets here. I like the little bell that it like ding ding. So market, just to catch you up, we are looking at Apple. So, and you know, like we're looking at it, you know, we were looking at the lower time frames and it was like, okay, well, this could bounce, right? But then we're kind of looking at the higher time frame, like the daily, and seeing, oh, well, it looks like it wants to test at 178. Okay. So that's where I'm saying. So I would definitely hold off on Apple today. This market could be a little choppy this morning. But you can always find, you know, something to trade. Could you quickly comment on the angle of those RSIs as you look at them, e.g., which are angled too far? Right. So some of them, you know, sometimes you have to look at the history of the RSI on particular tickers. So if we go to the hourly, it has swooped down before pretty low. So it would not be surprising to trick a lot of traders, you know, looking at that 30 RSI, and it as you see, it did not bounce. You know, we can see that it wants to go down more, but it is building a significant amount of support. But what I am noticing is we don't really have to go too much farther down, and it should kind of start curling up, like these small bands curling up a little bit, and we should start seeing like a rollover of the price kind of arcing back up. So I am going to pay attention on the lower time frames on this one, because once again, if you can buy it at 178, you know, it's a lot cheaper than trying to buy it at 200. It's a lot cheaper trying to buy it at 230, right? It could go higher. It most likely will go higher. That's another good indication with the bands. If the bands are still turning up like they are, let me remove some of this markings. I have to be careful because sometimes I'll hit the trash can and I just like delete all my trend lines. Yay. Right. So we can see where the price was here at 233 was the highest. That's where it, you know, finally rejected. Definitely an area of rejections is on this first deviation. So then we kind of, we would be scaling down a little bit more, waiting for these bands to kind of start curving up more. It has a lot of room. So by the time we could be higher at this moment, you know, this will be a very cheap buy if it starts to bounce, hoping maybe today or tomorrow. So right. So we will get down to biz nasty. We have, for people that have the TD Ameritrade platform, we are actually doing a new scanning system based with the RSI, based with the rules that we want to look at. And one particular cool thing is we're going to start doing a spreadsheet. Do you have an updated spreadsheet for me to show today? Sweet. Yeah, just send it through the Discord, and then I'll pop up the file. So we are actually working with another guy who's going to make a bot for us, and this will all be pretty much automated, where we can update our scanner through Ameritrade and send it to the spreadsheet on the cloud, and then you guys can just type a command and in the actual Discord, and it will pop up. It should pop up a real time look at the chart or at the watch list. It should. It will definitely help follow in the mornings for sure. It will also help for you guys to help me, or help us all find some winning stocks, right? So find those boomers. I mean, like I was explaining yesterday, Tahoe, if that would have been on my watch list, I would have made, $10 off that, right? So those are on the scanner though. I just need more eyes. You know what I mean? I don't have enough eyes. So now I have okay on it, and then it should just domino effect, and you guys should be learning it, and it's gonna be great. But you can see right now that it's still dropping. So 180, right? So it's breaking that deviation. That's the nice thing about the indicator is once it breaks this, that support, it's just gonna keep going down, And you can always go to the 1 minute time frame and see that it still has room to go down, right? It's the same process of room to go up. It has room to go down as well. So we'd want these bands to smooth out eventually, okay? And remember that these bands right here are the short bands on the 5 minute chart. It's those bands, okay? If you didn't know that, now you do. It's a little odd to look at, seeing how the volume's kind of reacting with the bands. But I love doing these because it visually shows you the direction of where it's going. Right here, guys, in this 278 range, we're so close to it. It could be one like a little sneaker this morning. A sneaker. Anyways, so yeah, if you look at these bands here and then you go to the 1 minute, that's what you're seeing. So pretty cool. Yeah. So as soon as I get that spreadsheet, then I'll do another share screen. Thank you. Yeah. I can understand, people in getting into trend charts, trend tickers. They do move a lot faster, but they are risky too, because once you get past the initial bounce, then you just see people just trying to tag along on the run, and that's when things can get pretty choppy, pretty risky. So it's good to buy the cheap, buy the low, so you can turn your monitor off, and move your stop loss up or whatever, but still have a life and not be so dependent on, staring at the charts all day. Unless you enjoy staring at charts all day. So once I get that spreadsheet, then we can go over it. Also, another thing too, I throw it out there. My life revolves around coffee. If you guys are actually making profit off the system, that's really, all I request is, a bag of coffee from your local area. It's a way of sort of congratulating, your achievements by having like a cup of coffee with you in a cyber sense, if we were like living in the same area, then we'd just go get a cup of coffee somewhere. But yeah, that's why it's there. And I'm not doing jelly beans anymore. But yeah, thank you. Okay. For that. All right. So I just need to open this up. Perfect. Beautiful. All right. So I like what I see. So, let's see, go to new share. Can I share multi-screens? I believe I can. Oop, holy shit. Don't want to share my TOS account. I should be able to share two screens, right? Or no? Is that not how that works? We'll see. Probably not, right? Well, here we go. So you guys should see just we would have to change monitor view. Okay. All right. So I'll look into that more. It's pretty exciting what we're doing right now and what we're really building in. So OK actually built this spreadsheet, and this is what wouldn't you be accurate in saying that this is what they'll see when they hit that command for the Discord bot? Perfect. So you guys will see the scanning process of what we looked at, and then we can find out what we want to see, what we want to trade. Obviously, these RSIs all in the super low is exactly what we want to see. So we can take the first one, and I believe that's IWR. Also, you can follow along on your indicator, so you're getting the visual idea of what's going on. So let me, I wish there was a way I could share two screens at once. I'm looking. I'm trying to do this in a way that, you know, it still keeps my privacy. But let me just, we're still learning, boys. No, I'm talking like privacy on, like, because you'll see. Just give me a second. So I'm going to go to advanced and then go to portion of screen. Wait a minute. Boom. Pop that up. Portion of screen. Share a portion by using, okay. Well. Okay. I'm trying to get this to work. I don't know. Oh, wait. Okay. I think I figured it out. Yeah, just give me a second here. All right. There we go. You can see the chat. Oh, that's cool. Just throw on that monitor, whatever. All right. So now you can see the chart, right? And you can see the spreadsheet. So we can go through these without really having to get on to Ameritrade. I don't mind getting on TD, but I wanted to show you guys how the spreadsheet works. So we can go to the 5-minute chart. We still see that the RSI is still pretty high. So I would like this to drop down here at 50 bucks. Okay. So let me see it, because it is showing pretty on the, you guys can see this, right? You can see the both screens. Okay, perfect. No, only the chart. What? It's showing both screens. Like, you can't see the spreadsheet. Are you kidding me, dude? On my screen, it shows both. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to dink around with that. I got some dinking around to do after this, huh? Because I was trying to show like both screens and stuff, but see if it's possible to share two screens or not. Yeah, the formula is poo poo. But you guys just follow along for now on the chart. We'll get through the theatrics later. So what happened to the chart? Can you guys see what's going on here or no? Can you see the chart? I don't see anything. You can see the chart. Okay, that's creepy. But that's all you see is the chart. That's even creepier. All right, so does my settings have auto checked? I don't know if that's just a thing when you check in different tickers, but it always like checks auto, and that drives me nuts. Anyways, so this one right here, 5 minutes. So it looks like the bands are still pointing out on the short. We look like on our 9 EMA that we are still under. So it's probably going to keep dropping, right? I would look at the $50 range. We can still test that. Again, we are still working to get all the kinks out of this, but we're getting somewhere. So it does look like on these bands it could go lower. The RSI has not. This red line has not touched the RSI yet. So again, like I was telling, it has to curve up. It has to spike up, or however it's going to do its thing, for us to get a confirmation. So let me just check the daily, right? Boom. So the daily, again, shows that it's testing the VWAP right now, right? But it might try to bounce at that $49 range or go lower. So I'm not even going to mess with this one. All right, so let's go to RYB. If it doesn't fit the criteria that we're looking for, it's pointless to keep trying to look for it, right? Because it's just going to burn us or get us overwhelmed in our trade, and I don't like that feeling. I like being very confident in my trades. So this right here is a good example. So now all we need to do is curl back up. All right. Now sometimes you'll see this. There's nothing wrong with your indicator. It's just it hasn't been out that long, right? I think it just it looks at data as far as TradingView allows. There is like a data cap, I believe, for TradingView, but it's not a huge deal, right? Like we really don't care what's going on in the background. We're more important about what's going on in the front. So this is a breakout scenario, but again, it looks like it failed previously, and you can see how many times the VWAP, right? Like it just keeps failing it. So it might want to drop down some more. See how the 5 minute looks. Yeah. So it's squeezing. Like this would be a very scary trade for me because of how like consolidating it's been, right? So this is like that 1 hour line right there. See, and it's showing going down more. So to put your buy in here, your stop loss would be like you would eat some on this one for sure. Your stop loss would be like right here somewhere. So we'll say 10 cents. I would only give it about 10 cents personally. Some would go at 5 cents. 10 cents would be mine. So right now it's at 732. So if it goes lower than that, then I can see it just, and it has a long drop. So that could be pretty scary to hold on to. Let me look at some other. Let's see. We got NVIDIA on there. We got GE. Okay, GE. Now, when the news is against GE, when fundamentals is against GE, that's usually when it's time to buy. You just got to see if it's holding on those supports. We are crossing the RSI right here, so now it needs to curl up. The initial curl up is usually when we're already in the trade. I do see it has room to go down lower. Okay, And then the daily, it's the same scenario. And I've been saying that it's going to drop to $5 The bands are starting to smooth out. I will zoom that in for you guys. It's hard to tell, but I can kind of see some smoothing out going on right through here. Okay. And the RSI is very low. Okay. Now, previously it has dropped, all the way down here. Obviously it can't do that, or they're going to boot it from the exchange. So I don't see GE getting booted from the exchange. I just see GE being cheaper. So I am going to put an alert right at that line. Boom. And done. So now I got, once that sucker goes off, best believe I'm going to be buying it. As long as it stays there. If it drops past that, then no. But see, look, from here to here is 40 cents. Are you kidding me? There's no way G's going down to 40 cents. I don't believe it. All right, so QCOM. Actually, let's look at FTI. So we can look at, and I do this version sometimes where I use like multiple screens and stuff, or multiple windows, chart windows, which we can still do. It might just be hard to read because the indicator's on there. We can try. It's really just preference. I'm trying not to overwhelm you guys too much. So FTI looks like it's going to drop, in that $22 range. On the daily, it's still deciding. It still doesn't want to bounce yet. So yeah, I would probably wait, I wonder if there's a way you can drag and drop. I guess. So yeah, I would probably wait on this as well. Let's do a J and K. But you can see the process that we have here is, it can be pretty time consuming. Did those not change? Oh, I must have my settings. Try that again. Oh, I know why, because I'm always comparing it with the S&P. There we go. So it should be different time frames. Yes. So I actually like, well, I lied. So I'm actually looking at this price. So we're just going to be sending alerts. It seems like, I don't know how comfortable I feel with these scanner settings quite yet. We're going to have to tweak it some more. I guess one thing I could do is put my Ameritrade. Give me 1 second. We go a little bit over today. It's fine. I'm going to try to wrap these up around 7. That way I have time to wrap my mind around my trades and you guys too, to put your stop losses in, risk management, take profits. We're just going over the trades right now. So. All right, so let's take a look at these again. See what I can find here. DBD. Yeah, so DBD looks like it's trying to bounce. Maybe it was yeah, it's just not ready yet. Not ready. Let me Let me just scan it my traditional way. Where is it? Here. 2, 3. Sorry about this, guys. Trying to find you guys a ticker for today. If there is any tickers that you guys want to look at, please let me know. This is all wonky. Let's see here. Sorry about this. Okay, BLDP. I'm just making sure these settings are set right. There we go. There we go. That's what I want to see right there. Boom. A squeeze. A squeeze always is good on an hour, okay? A squeeze can mean one thing. It's going to break, right? Like it's going to burst up pretty soon. The question is which direction, right? I do see on the daily that it is kind of, the bands are kind of climbing up, right? Up in their price. So that's a good sign. There is also that, that area of concern if it wants to drop more, but the RSI looks good on the 30. The RSI is a little high on the 5-minute, but that is to be expected on a volatile, cheap asset. How much does pre-market effect matter with respect to market trading? Well, it's basically our way to find the cheapest buys, because as soon as the market turns on, as soon as it opens, boom, it's too late. Like you have to play the chase, or you have to wait for the pullback and then get into the trade. It really depends on how it looks on the band. That's why for, like the 60-minute here, it looks prime, like frick it, like put an order in there because it's holding on to the deviations. There's a squeeze. It's a little concerning here, right? You're thinking, okay, so is the RSI going to drop down? Right? So does that mean the price is going to drop down? It's possible. It could, the next candle could drop down to here, but look at this. With the lowest price here at 270, at 270-ish, the RSI was already below. And technically, did it close at 70? Nope. So 70 is right here. So technically, it never broke that 70 RSI. So this could have been like a little tricky hold, and that it's going to go even higher, right? In that $3 range. So that's sort of how I'm narrating this to myself, right? Because to me, it like people say like penny stocks and this. I don't really look at that aspect. I just look if it's a good cheap buy. If it's up here, it's not good at all because you don't have any idea where the market's going. If I remove this, right, and you bought somewhere right here, you wouldn't really know unless you did your homework too, if it was going to drop or not. That's why the indicator is so good at finding those areas. Does that answer your question a little bit? So we're looking to get an idea of where we're going to put our orders in. Okay, so that's why it's going to end around like 7 o'clock. Usually, we'll have all the theatrics figured out tomorrow. But yeah, that's our goal. Okay, if we can come up with at least like two or three stocks on a day and trade those, we should see at least a 2 or to the 5% gain. So it's a really good system. Even if you decide you want to hold, right? Maybe this takes a little longer. You know, maybe you're looking at the 350 mark, you know, as it has rejected previously from that VWAP right there. Boom. Right? So you could just not be greedy at all, and you could take it right there. And then you go to 350 on the daily, and it's pretty much in the same VWAP location, right? You notice how I'm moving this cursor, and it's also moving on these other time frames, and they're also correlating with the VWAP, except this one up here because it's the 5 minute, right? See, so it is a pretty cool setup that you can do with TradingView, right? Anyways, so another thing I like to do is look at the sectors. Sometimes that's where you can find the winners. Last week it was definitely the energy sectors with that PGC fire that happened. You know, other energy companies were banking on it. This week, who knows? Maybe healthcare. You know, the biotech is always a popular place for new traders, just because the prices are so cheap, and people just get stuck to those prices. You know, because there is a difference between spending, you know, 1,000 shares on a $6 stock compared to 1,000 shares on a $1.50 stock. You know, it's going to be a lot cheaper, but there's also risk behind that as well. So, you know, just you have to take that into consideration, that those really cheap penny stocks can burn you, right? AZN. Oh, I don't like that one. So what I'm just doing on my Ameritrade account is I'm just dragging and dropping into the quick chart and just looking for some kind of V pattern formation at the bottom. And I will repeat this a million times, but this is exactly how you guys will look at them as well. I still believe in the visual aspect. Take a look at what's this? Yeah, everything's red. Oh, real estate. Yep, and utilities. I was just looking at real estate, so thank you for reminding me. So here's a good example. The daily. Look at this. The daily, it looks like it's going to bounce, right? I mean, why wouldn't it? But then you look at the 5 minute, and it looks like it's going to drop more, even on the hourly. That's going to be interesting. It might. Maybe it's going to retest here at 554. 554 ish. Yeah, and it could. So not too big of a deal for LCI. Definitely one that maybe a shorting scenario might be in effect. The RSI are high on the daily, which is always a good sign to short. You might have missed your short though. It looked like this was the top. This was the top of the RSI, this range. So also the RSI bands that you see, this yellow guy and the sort of like the maroon or whatever color, these also reject very well from the RSI. The candles do. So pay attention to that. And then they act as a magnet sometimes too. You'll notice, like, even on this selling scenario here, I'll put it on Itchy's, I don't know how to say it, Heike. But on this selling scenario, you see, okay, so we're below or above the 9 EMA, right? So we know that it's a bearish scenario. And then it's also acting like a magnet on this RSI band right here. See? It's still going through. So this would actually need to pop above this yellow line, the RSI band, and then start climbing. Okay, so that's how you read that. And I'll have more information on that when I do the course part for the RSI studies, so you guys get a better grasp. Okay, so let's go to that real estate one. Okay, that looked interesting. Not many on it, so we should be able to go through them quite fast. Vicky, what's that? VI Vicky? Yeah. Is everybody following along so far? Do you have any questions? Feel free to ask. This is what the webinar is for. Yeah, it looks a little in the medium, the middle section. I really don't mess with those too much. Let's see what Gov looks like. Once you get good at this, you can go through tickers very quick. Same scenario. So watch this, the cursor on the top left, right? So we're right here. Okay, so I'm going to move it slow. Now watch where it lands on the deviations on the daily from on the 60-minute. So 586, 586. I wonder if I can draw a line on all of that. I think I can. Oops. There we go. Did it draw? Let's try again. That's my dog. It didn't draw a line. Okay. Trading View, you need to fix that crap. But yeah, I can see it dropping, lower in the price range with that 586, whatever they're saying, which makes sense with these bands right here too. And it seems like this is where it bounced last time. So that's another important thing to look at. Turn on the button check. The what? What button check? Oh, the drawings. Maybe that'll work, right? Let me try again. Yeah. Woody tooty. All right, cool. I know there's a reason why I had most of those off and on. It's probably because I was doing different TAs on different charts and I didn't want it to confuse myself looking at two different charts and putting lines on them. So yeah, definitely an area we could put another alert on. And like I was telling you guys, usually the alerts can really make you quite a bit of money. Let's see, WPG. This is a small list. I don't like it. Watch, you'll probably go up. That's happened to me before too, is, you just look at one, you're like, it doesn't look good, it doesn't fit my criteria. And then it shoots up like, 40%. You're like, really? But you can't beat yourself up because the system that we have in effect is still, very accurate. All right. So we're now looking at utility sector just to keep you guys on board what's going on. So PCG had a nasty drop. Of course, we all know pretty much what happened in that scenario. And on the 5, it still looks like it might want to squeeze some more. I would look at this range at $20. Maybe that's what it's looking at. Oof, that daily looks nasty, dude. This is when I'd throw the 2-day on there just to see if I can find like something. Maybe right there. It might be rolling back up. This might be like the bottom. So definitely something to pay attention to. It could have bounced right here. It could have. And I'll dive in like deeper. Now, when I'm in an actual trade, I'll switch my time frames up and everything. But yeah. Forcing what? The whole system up? Yeah, I mean the RSIs don't look pretty either, except the daily. But the daily could push down even lower, or it could just sort of consolidate, right? Like it did back here. So sometimes they consolidate as well. That signal will consolidate, and maybe it's just not ready yet. Yeah, I'm not finding much today. Yeah, like AEE. You were looking at AEE. popped up on my scanner too. Definitely looks like it's up there. Like all the RSIs are in the 70. When we get into a bear market, right? Which will happen. Then we can play the shorting games and get these things, at the highest area possible. That way we can short it and make a lot of money off it. So what's that price? 73? No. I wonder if I can do the trick here. Let me see. 30. Maybe those are it. It still has room to go up, but it's a very risky trade, is all I'm going to say. It's still risky. I can see it could climb up to like $72, but this is all risk right here because this thing could reject at any moment. And we don't want that. You guys don't want that. Now I'm looking at the consumer discretionary. Just looking to see if I can find any sells, any good buys, man. What about JD? JD was supposed to be good, and then it sort of did another drop. Any trader, okay? It doesn't matter who they are. You still will lose. You'll still lose money, right? But it's how much money you're going to lose depends on how you're risk assessing, right? How your stop losses are set, and so that I don't think I want this yet. And see, this was something I shouldn't have done, right? Is I took someone else's advice on this one because they have a similar strategy to mine. And I just put the order in. I didn't think about it, right? So yeah, JD bit me. Not a lot, it hit my stop loss, but it's a loss is a loss, right? So AMC looks good on the 60. It looks like it's trying to curl back up. You guys can see that. It's trying to curl back up here. Trying to see what it's done before in this range. It's been a while. Maybe like right here somewhere. So it might do something like that too. A little wookie. Double bounce. So, but it is smoothing out. So that looks good. The best, easiest way you can find it smoothing out is the bands sort of start going the same direction. Like, it's almost like the buyers and sellers are agreeing, it's like, okay, truce. In the, oops, I have it on 30 minutes. You see how the 5-minute looks. Yeah, it's holding. It's still a little high on the RSI, so it could have a nasty little candle just to upset traders in the morning and then bounce. But it is cheap. Okay. And this is an area of support. Looking on the 2-day. So it could bounce right here. It does have a lot of resistance though, all through here. So I'm concerned about that. Fitting all the criterias, I would definitely be careful though, because anything, if it drops below that $11 range, then adios, right? So that's definitely, it definitely has to, it's a testing factor right here for sure. So what else we got? What's this? Please move this window away from shared. What's that mean? Something was like popped up on my screen. You guys still see the chart, right? Not trolling me. Yelp looks good. Okay. Does anybody else see anything that they want me to take a look at real quick before we wrap it up? Now, mind you, I do have other stocks I'm still holding. So even if I don't actively participate in these trades today, just by looking at the health overall, doesn't mean that I won't be trying to make some money. Nasty squeeze on all of these charts. Squeezing. Not so much on the 60, but yeah, I mean, you do kind of see the same. See, guys, it's doing the same thing. They're all doing the same thing. They're all looking like they're going to pull back some more. They all look like they're going to drop. Like I can identify healthy bounces and whatnot, and these don't look healthy yet. If it breaks this resistance again, then it could drop lower. So just throwing that out there. KO in GDS, and then we're going to call it KO. Now, we were looking at this yesterday. It broke the wedge that we were talking about before, right? And KO really didn't do too much, right? It still might be trying to creep up to that $51 that we were talking about. But you do notice like the bands are smoothing out now. So that means that these bands are probably going to start turning down soon. Okay? These short bands. And once they do that, then the price just travels wherever the bands are. You know what I mean? Just like this. So wherever these bands are going is where the price is going to travel. Or it breaks it completely and then it plays off the bigger bands. So for this particular one, I'm actually going to switch it to these candles so I can see what's going on. So it built a support right here. I do see that it's going to try to test that $51. I really do. But it still looks like a shorting scenario to me. Maybe right here is the magic moment at $51. And GDS. What are you looking to do on GDS? Short it, right? So the daily definitely is rejecting the VWAP. Oh, come on. I did this last time. The scroll wheel thing, it won't like let me scroll up. Okay, that one works. So it's testing this VWAP on the 5 minute. If it rejects again, then we could see that short scenario, proving its worth. I got all kinds of markings on here. All right. So we can see where the rejection was back here. And then as the bands are still turning this way, the price is going the opposite way. Not a lot of volume. There could be a gap down this morning. So far, I'm not seeing a healthy market today. It seems like it's going to be more of a consolidation. See, it's dipping here. See what I'm saying? Did it just break that while we were watching? Did that candle just show up? Do I need more coffee? It just showed up, didn't it? We were just talking about it. But that's a perfect example of when you don't F around with these stocks that are up here, right? And, people got burned on this sucker, I guarantee you. And see, it broke this deviation, right? This is a live look at it. Now it's going to try to test this bounce right here. And if we're looking at the daily, it's going past the VWAP, right? So the big buyers are saying no. But on the shorter time frame, it's going to be testing this price range right here at 26.40. So I would say once it drops below 26.40, then you should be making some profit off this short. Do want to check eBay real quick because that was one that I've been kind of eyeballing. Always look back too at the lower price and see if this was the cheaper buy, right? Because maybe that's where the actual buy was and you missed the actual bounce. Using the bands, honestly, I don't like trading or, especially a lot of tickers. I'll evaluate, at the end of the day and decide if I want to get out or not. If they still look healthy, I'll play with them. If they're fighting a lot of resistance, right? Usually you can find that resistance through here. So say for instance that, on the 5 minute, this is a horrible example, but let's just say, right, it bounces, right? I say right a lot, don't I? It drops down and then it bounces. Okay. So now this is where we're making profit. Now you could sell it right here. Okay. Make 50 cents. Or if it passes that VWAP, that means they want to go higher. Okay. Then you can look at that $28 range. So what you really want to look at, my friend, is you want to look at the highest levels of resistance on the bands, okay? So on our 5 minute, we have $28. On the VWAP, we have 29 through here, okay? So 29 is probably where it's going to drop. Okay, you guys see that? But if it goes past this $29, okay, then we see on the daily, right? If it breaks that, then we can look at, a longer hold. Okay, you're still making profit because you bought the bottom. If you buy down here at 27 and you sell at 29, that's still $2, 1,000 shares. You see what I'm saying? So there's that underlining damn thing. Wow, Thomas, maybe that looks good for your account, but for my account, I can't do 1,000 shares. The process though is just to teach you guys what to see, and then you can decide how many shares you want to purchase, right? Just purchase on what you can afford, but you will know where you could sell or you could keep holding, if that makes sense. If you're not using that much equity, and you could go longer on the trade, right? As long as you're moving that stop loss up to the deviations. That's the biggest thing they're getting in profit. What burns people is their risk assessment. Were you watching? No, I'm just messing with you. So the first thing I look at is the first resistance, okay? And that's on the 5 minute. So if we blue, if I'm assuming, right, and this is a assumption that I feel like it's going to drop down to here, right? Because it seems like the bands are smoothing out at $27. This would be a good buy as long as it holds on the deviation. Okay, so I can actually just set an alert real quick. Boom. I got alerts galore. All right, guys. I'm not mad about it. Okay, this is why I spend the money I do for TradingView, so I can get those alerts. You can also do them on your brokerages. Yeah, you're on hiking, you're on this, you're on that. All we're looking at are those levels of resistance. It doesn't really change. people like to read candles, okay? But it really doesn't change, right? It's still the same area for the bounce. So what I'm looking at, right, got my alert set. Let's say it does bounce at 27, okay? Make sure I'm not on drawing because I always do that. Let's say it does bounce, okay? And it does look like, it's playing wonky right now. Okay, I don't trust it quite yet. It could gap open this morning, or it could gap down. Okay, so seeing on how this plays, right? So it's climbing. We still know that the resistance is at $29. Okay, how do we know that? By looking at the 1 hour time chart. Okay. So we're looking at the 60-minute time chart. Where did I get 29 from? Was it this one? Yeah. So I'm not really paying attention too much to the short VWAP. It's more I'm paying attention to this high level of resistance at $29. Okay. So then we look at this deviation. So you can see these cursors are all moving in sync. So at 29.39, okay, we can draw a line. It's right here, okay? Let me blow up the 5-minute chart again, and let's see if it has rejected at that deviation before. And it has. It has gone up pretty high too, but it has rejected at that deviation before. So it is something to also look at. You could play this in the short scenario if you wanted to. If it doesn't break that $29 range, then you can short it. But this would not. I don't know if this would have fit my criteria or not for eBay. It's so funny that it actually bounced like that. But like I said, it could be because it bounced back here. Okay. It doesn't mean that it can't keep going lower. It could. So there's my cross, ECA. We were looking at this yesterday, weren't we? Oh, look at that drop. See, I told you guys. I told you so. I told you it's going to be a nasty little drop in the morning. That's because the QQQ is nasty right now. Everything's nasty. I'm looking at my stocks. Yep, man, we're going to be hitting some stop losses today, boys. The good news is stop losses are already in profit, right? It's just not, it didn't hit some of my targets that I wanted to hit. But no worries, because I do this full time, so we'll try again. But yeah, it is red. It is red today. The market is getting smoked out right now. Let me see if I can find anything that's winning. The highest thing, right? The highest thing is Corv, CORV, and it has a 6% change. That is it. Last week we were looking at 40%. So is there a little bit of importance when it comes to the indexes? Yes, there is. It was at 266. Now it's at 265. 158. Well, that's because it was already low, right? So that was the alert. That's what we were looking at this morning. And look at that. Boom. Because of that squeeze that I was telling you about. This is definitely a scalping scenario. This is not a hold. This is one of those things where you're just going to take quick profit and then you're out. You got to snipe it quick. Did we make the list though? Man, this should be on the list. Because it's, how is this scanner set up? I'm using OK scanning stuff, and it's kind of wonky for me. No offense to him. I'm just trying to get used to it. Let me just look it up. What is it called? CTRP. TRP. Enter. Why did it not? CTRP. Why is it showing red still? Yeah. So if it goes up right here, oh my gosh. Right? Because that's that squeeze I was telling you guys about. This thing could shoot up to like $28. It never fails, man. This train is here 24/7. All right. Let me rescan this one more time. It's weird. I don't see it on the list. It should be on the list. No. I know. I'm just saying, like, because these are looking at percentage changes, it should show up on here if it's at a higher percentage. And look at it though. It's going, dude. Daggone it. See? Missing out. This is the test for it right here. Is that 2622? See, you can see it here as well, 26. See where it's marking on that 60-minute? So this will be a test for it. That 2618, somewhere around there. How much room on the daily? My daily thing's broke. Oop, let me take those off EXT. Whoa. Maybe that's why. Wait a minute. This is set up right, isn't it? Yeah. Why is it showing green? Is the candle showing green on you guys? Okay. It's odd. 2577, 25.7. Okay. Just making sure my data set is picking this up right. Yeah. That would have been a snipe for sure. Because it might drop here. What's the SPY doing? What are you doing, SPY? So it hasn't hit the 262 range, which is good. It's holding on to the deviations. Smoothing out a little bit. If it can break through this 266, then I can see it going higher. Yeah, because it's still testing on this VWAP. It just needs to stay above here at 265. Exciting times, right? What's up, Banjo? How you doing, bro? Banjo is he's still learning the trading. Try to put some money in his pocket as well. Just seeing what Spy is doing real quick, and then I'm going to end the session. I got to take my daughter to school at 8 o'clock. Just got to break through here. Just do it. If we can get through this area right here, get out of this zone to like 267-ish, then I can see a pretty decent day in the market. I'm going to stop the recording now because I think we're good on our teaching aspect.